Let's kick some serious alien ass.
On this day in 1996, the world escaped the clutches of extinction.
It feels like only yesterday that we celebrated Roland Emmerich's sweet popcorn flick Independence Day. To be honest, no it doesn't. It's 20 years later and we live in a different era of blockbusters now. And more often than not, it's a better time going to the movies. I mean, there are many flaws with many movies today, and I can totally understand if people are annoyed by the sheer amount of sequels, franchise stuff, and the overall dominance of superhero movies, but when you look closely, many of those movies are actually pretty good and some even quite fantastic. With Independence Day, it feels like our cinema world and the world of the movie itself moved along opposite tracks. The basic idea is that humanity built upon all those alien technology after that attack in the first movie. Resurgence creates a science fiction world with heavy defense systems on the moon, jets that will take you around the globe in just a few seconds, and very convenient laser rifles that might come in handy whenever there's a new alien threat. Long live that Second Amendment. But with that in-movie progression, which could actually be a cool idea for a sequel, it seems the movie itself forgot to move along some basic filmmaking 101 stuff. It's so overloaded, heavy on clichés, repetitive and bland that it really feels more like a popcorn flick from the 90s. And maybe that's exactly what some people are looking for and you can definitely have some fun with it, but overall it's a pretty big mess. Entertaining? Yes, but a mess nevertheless. 20 years have passed and Roland Emmerich brings back almost all of the beloved characters from the first movie. Jeff Goldblum is back as David Levinson, Judd Hirsch plays his father again, Bill Pullman is there, Vivica A. Fox has a very small role, and there are even some who died in the first one that are alive, and some who are supposed to be alive who are not any longer. Yep, Will Smith is not in the movie, and while I'm not a fan of his, it hurts the story. Emmerich always loved to populate his disaster movies with many one-note characters, and it's the same here. While Goldblum is still one of the stars, there's a whole squad of new characters, young and old. Liam Hemsworth is a young pilot, his fiancée, played by Maika Monroe, is the daughter of Bill Pullman's character, the new, now female president is played by Sela Ward, William Fichtner is a general, Jessie T. Usher plays the son of Will Smith's character, Deobia Oparei, sorry for butchering that, portrays a machete-wielding warlord, Nicolas Wright, an old-school comic relief nerd, Travis Tope plays the best friend of Hemsworth, Angelababy, the girl he falls in love with on first sight, Gainsbourg, a scientist I believe, and so on. Even after a full hour there are still more characters being introduced and it's hard to care for anyone. It feels very outdated, relying on bad dialogue, cringe-worthy moments and convenient plot contrivances. It wants to re-establish that big fun popcorn feeling, but it falls flat most of the time. This is a movie where you might possibly laugh when key characters are dying and where you want to cry when it's supposed to be funny. It feels like an attempt to be this year's The Jurassic World, but it doesn't land that way. The plot is very clumsy, the build-up far from tense in any way, and when shit goes down, it looks like some people digitally put together random images. You get your landmarks destroyed, billions of people die even though you don't see them, alien ships, human jets, everything's blown up, but the movie doesn't succeed in leaving any kind of impact. There is no weight to it, and for a movie this big, the sound design is one of the weakest I've heard in a long time. At a point I was wondering if something was wrong with the cinema because all those laser shots were almost silent. It's not a movie to get goosebumps, but it should be exactly that. It should also provide something new visually, something breathtaking, something fresh, but there are many moments where it doesn't look like it's big budget at all. And what was the best element of the first movie? It was by far the speech of the president. It was so great that they reused parts of it for the trailer for this one and even for the beginning of the actual movie. And is there a new speech today? There are many different little speeches and each time you think, what? That was it? Well, being a simple popcorn movie, the first one got at least that feeling of being the underdog, right? The underdog who has to face impossible odds and in the end, by combining all strength, by sacrifice and teamwork, somehow manages to save the day. This time, I was almost beginning to root for the aliens. Well, okay, maybe not that far, but even though half the planet goes to shit, the odds don't feel that bad this time. Maybe because of all that science fiction equipment, maybe because of the underwhelming team dynamics, maybe because we've been there before, and maybe because all those things combined and more. The structure is so muddled, there's almost zero tension, and worst, there's no catharsis. No punch, no fist bump moments. Well, me and my buddy were fist bumping, but those were those kind of ironic fist bumps whenever something was so strange, trashy, or just downright bad that you couldn't believe it was actually happening. Those moments definitely make the movie quite entertaining, but the action itself, its characters, and the story are not. The performances are all over the place. Charlotte Gainsbourg is lisping like hell in some scenes, then talking quite normal in others. The new president is not even B-movie material, and the warlord and nerd comes straight out of a bad 90s movie. But Jeff Goldblum and Judd Hirsch are quite cool, and Brent looks like he had a time of his life. He had so much joy being back, and that at least was a blast to look at. Even though it only adds to the total madness of the movie's tonality. Independence Day Resurgence is a mess. There are 5 people alone credited with screenwriting. To be honest, it's an entertaining mess at times, and I wasn't bored despite its repetitive nature, but it's cringe-worthy 70% of the time. There is no investment, and it feels like going back to a darker time of popcorn entertainment. Alright, that's it. Like always, please tell me in the comments below what you think about Independence Day Resurgence. Did you like the movie? What was your favorite part of it? What was your least favorite part of it? And would you be happy to see another sequel? And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. You are not my